What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G with Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and my friends, I am back! Falling over myself, I'm so excited. All right, my friends, we are back for another episode of Tabletop Takeout Tuesday. And it's Tuesday, all right? And I got a game for your tabletop to take out and take home. This game is a game that's based on something very familiar to just about, I think, everyone I've ever met. Yeah, I honestly can't think of one person that does not know what I'm about to talk about. All right, sure, you might not know about what I'm going to talk about the way I'm going to talk about it, but you know what I'm going to talk about. It's something everyone is familiar with, something we have been familiar with since we've all been wee little nerdlings. And that is rock, paper, scissors. Or in this case, rock, paper, wizard! All right, so Rock, Paper, Wizard is a very fun, exciting game. It's a great, exciting take on rock, paper, scissors. This game, you get this game to the table. First of all, it's going to take you a minute or two. This is going to take you a moment, a fleeting moment, to be able to understand the rules of this game. Because it's familiar. Like I said, everyone knows 1, 2, 3, shoot, and then you put out your rock, put out your paper, put out your scissors. But this is a little bit of a twist. This is a fantasy game. So in this game, it's set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Although it really has little to nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons, yes, the spells that are in the game are directly from Dungeons and Dragons. But other than that, your theater of the mind imagination, it could be any fantasy setting, really. So the idea is you are a wizard. And the other players that you are playing the game with are also wizards. And you have just finished defeating an evil, ancient, and powerful dragon. And now, it's time to collect the treasure. Oh, yes. But wait a moment. Now your companions have turned on you. How dare they? Now it's every wizard for themselves, as everyone wants to grab that dragon's treasure. They don't care that you were just their friend. No. Every wizard for themselves, my friends. All right, so in this game, just like rock, paper, scissors, you are going to decide what you're going to throw down, and that's decided by your spell book. It's a communal spell book that all the players there are going to be sharing. Now, the game, you're going to set out a certain number of spells depending on the number of players. 1 for each player plus 1, maximum of 5. So even in a 6-player game, you're going to have 5 cards out. A 5-player game, you're going to have 5 cards out. In a 4-player game, you'll have 5 cards out. Actually, no, it's not a 6-player game. My apologies. It's a up to 5-player game. Now, in this game, there's no difference. It doesn't matter which wizard you pick. They're all thematically the same. Just the color is different. Red, yellow, green. Was it blue and purple or what? So the colors are the only thing that's different. You're all going to be choosing from the same spell book. So the game starts, you have your spell book laid out, and everyone just, takes a moment to look over the spells. You have to read it. You have to know exactly what the spell does. So once you know what the spell does, you know who you're going to cast it on. You're going to cast it on someone across the table from you, someone a couple of seats over from you, maybe someone right next to you. Once you know what that spell does, when you take a moment to read it, you're going to know who's the best person to cast it on. Now, you also have to look at these cards, not only to know what the spell does, but you're going to need to know what your hand gesture is. They have different hand gestures in the game corresponding to the different spells. Now, since this is more than 2 players, now in rock, paper, scissors, you just go boom, boom, boom at each other. Well, in this, it's the same thing. But you're casting your spell at a specific person around the table. And you point at them. And then everyone reveals the spells. and the spells take effect depending on who the first player. Oh, the first player. One of the coolest first player markers I've seen, and that is a potion of speed. Very thematically perfect. Love it. So and this game's just going to go back and forth, and the idea is you got to get to the treasure. That's what you're doing. You're just trying to get to the treasure, because when you get to the treasure, you get to take a handful of it and fill your bags of holding up with it. Or your handy haversacks, or whatever you got. Now, the spells in the game are all going to manipulate the other players. They're going to move them further away from the treasure. They're going to move you closer to the treasure. They're going to change spaces with you and another player. They're going to cause other players to give up their money to you. Oh, yes. And when the agreed upon amount, and I think the game is 20 or 25 gold pieces, but when you have the amount of gold pieces that's decided upon for the winning score, the game is over. I don't think I've had one of these games last more than 15, 20 minutes. Plays out really fast. And like I said in the beginning of this, because it's all based on rock, paper, scissors mechanics, everybody knows it. So it's a great game to bring to the table. It has familiarity to it, has replayability to it. If you're a fan of fantasy, or more specifically Dungeons and Dragons, that's another reason to like this game. I'm telling you, this game is going to play fast. This might not be the kind of game you're going to plan an entire game day around. But my friends, I'll tell you, getting that game to the table, even for 1 or 2 quick plays during your game day before you move on to something big and epic, is going to be worth it. You're going to have fun, because it does give you that take that kind of aspect, because you're casting the spells right at the other people. And sometimes your spells can be reversed back on you. Yeah. So it ramps up the take that aspect without getting overly silly or causing a mechanism that'll prolong the game. You know, we see that in some other take that style games like Munchkin. Once someone reaches that 7th or 8th level, everyone is piling on them to knock them down a level or two, because nobody wants them to reach 10th level first. But this doesn't really have that aspect to it, which is really, really good, because you don't know exactly how your spell is going to take effect. And if you and the player you're casting on cast the same spell at each other, bam! Whoa, it's a wild surge. You don't know what's going to happen. You're going to have to draw blindly from the deck. And that unpredictability is way cool, let me tell you that. So at the end of each round, you're going to take the last card and you're going to discard it. You're going to shift the cards down. You're going to put a new card out in its place. So the spells you're casting during the course of the game are going to be changing. So that means that your strategy is going to have to be strange. Stranging? That means your strategy is going to have to be changing. So it's mentally agile. The game keeps you thinking. And you wouldn't think a quick little, take that style rock, paper, scissors game is going to be that deep. It's going to make you think. It does. If you want to be the winner, you're going to have a strategy, but it's going to have to be malleable. It's going to have to be fluid. You have to be able to change it up every couple of rounds, because the cards you've been counting on, that you've been using, they're going to shift out. All right, so I don't know what else I can tell you about this game. It's a short game. It's a quick game. It's a little game, but it's got a big feeling to it. You're going to have a lot of fun with this. So if you're looking for a good, quick game that you can throw down on the table, that works best with 3. Actually, I haven't played this with 2. I don't feel like I want to. So at least 3 players. You're 3 to 5 players. You're looking for a fast game, especially, let's say your D&D or Pathfinder group is meeting up that day, and some people are late. You want to keep your head in the game. You want to keep thinking, in this whole fantasy medieval setting. Great game. Throw it down. It'll keep your head in the game. And then when everyone else shows up, you guys are already in the mood. You're already feeling it. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a good game. So, rock, paper, wizard! That is a game you got to get to the table. All right, my friends, I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Picture presents Legendary Gaming. And once again, my friends, as you know, the rumors are true. I am